Later, Ellen, see you never. Good luck with that UK weather. You say that Trump's what since you're packing. We know it's cause your career be lacking. Enjoy your cricket, tea and biscuit. Fuel up and fade out, you stupid dick. Read all about the latest issue. This just in, nobody will miss you.
MC Gene, our Arkansas Eminem.
What happens when Greg Gutfeld and Megyn Kelly set their sights on Ellen DeGeneres? Spoiler, kindness doesn't make it out. Hollywood's favorite dancing talk show host just ran into some cold, hard truths. Gutfeld and Kelly came prepared with the receipts. From polished smiles to real chaos, this breakdown pulls back the curtain on the so-called Queen of Nice, and it isn't pretty. Think you know Ellen? Think again. This is the kind of twist no one saw coming, except maybe her staff.
News article after article of people being like, Ellen is a nasty person. And all these staffers started to come out, not for nothing, but I know a guy, I know him very well, whose sister worked for her, who said, you were not allowed to make eye contact with Ellen in the halls of that show.
It was all sunshine, sneakers, and studio dance parties. Ellen DeGeneres, the queen of daytime laughs, seemed to glide across TV screens like a mix of a fairy godmother and a walking feel-good slogan. Her signature move? A brand built on kindness. Slightly awkward celebrity chats, tucked between product promos and big audience giveaways, people couldn't get enough of it.
Ellen DeGeneres feeling the heat as more employees, past and present, from her show say that they were working in a toxic environment. Some Hollywood actors also speaking out against the talk show host now. Let's bring in Carly Shimkus of Fox News Headlines 24/7. Carly, good morning. Great to see you. So what more are we hearing on this story?
Yeah, so things are really spiraling here, and it's sort of two situations unfolding at once. One of them has to do with a mountain of complaints against the show's executive producers. Some 47 past and current employees have complained to BuzzFeed News. Allegations ranging from a toxic work environment, bullying, now even harassment.
But behind that polished curtain of laughs and carefully planned cheer, something else was building. Something far less magical and a lot more unsettling. This wasn't a slow burn, it was a pressure cooker of workplace issues, turned up high and left that way for years. The smiles looked perfect but felt empty. The applause came on cue, practiced and repeated. The whole show ran with the precision of a drill and the warmth of a Monday morning at a tax office.
On camera, she laughed while she badgered her staff. And so all good things must end. And also the Ellen DeGeneres show. Yes, the 83-year-old entertainer just announced that the upcoming 19th season of her show will be its last. Apparently, she created a workplace more toxic than an Amazon warehouse in Chernobyl. Countless allegations surfaced last summer that the show's work environment was rife with harassment and discrimination. Following those charges, Ellen's ratings dropped faster than Kevin Spacey's pants at a boy band pool party. Try to say that fast.
It was all a performance. 1 part dance routine, 2 parts on-air therapy built to feel warm and easy while running on tight control. What viewers saw was laughter and feel-good moments. What they didn't see was a workplace managed down to the smallest detail, where nothing was left to chance, and real connection followed a behind-the-scenes playbook.
If you saw her, this is not a nice person. So she eventually got canceled, but now she's coming back. She's got a Netflix special. That's the right response.
Yeah.
She's got a Netflix special. And here's the capper. On the promo, and apparently there's now articles out about from people who have seen the preview, she plays the victim. And she says, poor me. And she actually has the nerve to say that she was run out of Hollywood.
Every segment, every smile, every emotional giveaway, planned not out of pure generosity, but as part of a bigger brand strategy. The set felt bright and inviting, but it was still an illusion. The crew moved like replaceable parts in a kindness-driven machine. It was one of the entertainment world's most polished illusions, a feel-good empire where not many actually felt good, unless they were rich, famous, or wearing a mic. Then, like a glittery Jenga tower in a storm, it all came crashing down. The magic faded, and into the mess stepped Megyn Kelly. Not with damage control or soft PR, but with confidence and a sharp edge that cut through years of carefully built image. She didn't ease into the situation. She walked right into the center of it, backed by experience, facts, and a strong instinct for calling things out. She wasn't there to comfort anyone or smooth things over. She came to examine the whole system and point out every flaw. She didn't hold back. She made an impact. For Megyn, Ellen wasn't just a TV host facing criticism. She became a symbol of deeper problems within modern entertainment. A polished front, hiding bigger contradictions in celebrity culture.
I mean, Ellen got canceled for real a few years ago from just being a jerk.
Yeah.
Like, it wasn't like a single comment she said or something she did, just lots of people saying that working for her was a living nightmare and that she's a jerk. And I think that's probably why she wants to leave, because she hasn't really been able to make a comeback.
Yeah.
I mean, remember how everybody loved Ellen? They're like, Ellen, we love you. Ellen's here, yay. And then that all went away. So she probably has been thinking of a reason to leave, and now she thinks that this is the reason to try to make it look like some sort of, look how afraid I am. I feel how you feel because I'm, you know, of Trump.
Yeah, it was just the excuse. She is, Emily, I watched her comedy special. It was like a huge pity party. It was about how she was lamenting how her reputation has suffered. She's essentially as popular as a pit bull with monkeypox.
Ellen came to represent a polished version of virtue, packaged, branded, and sold at scale. She didn't just act kind on screen. She turned niceness into a product, wrapped it in a smile, and delivered it like daytime comfort food. But behind the upbeat tone and big giveaways was something more controlled than it appeared. Her success wasn't only about talent. It also relied on strict direction, loyalty, and an audience trained to respond on cue. Behind the bright studio lights, former staff have described a culture of tight rules and heavy management that didn't always match the cheerful image on screen. While some of these concerns were widely discussed, much of the media largely kept the focus on the show's positive, feel-good format, and audiences continued to see mostly light segments, emotional moments, and celebrity fun, rather than what was happening behind the scenes.
She's putting this on Trump. Do you think that she's going to be, just everybody's going to love her in England?
Especially the jihadis who love the lesbians so much. They're going to love her there. I think she's fleeing for way more than her anger over Trump.
If Trump is truly responsible for Ellen's exodus, shouldn't that go down as his greatest achievement in the last 8? I mean, he should get the Nobel Prize.
He's literally going to have a who's who of left. I mean, the entire 80s music catalog is gone. You got Springsteen, Cher, Madonna. I just don't know why they keep showing pictures of Aaron Rodgers with blonde hair.
What Megyn Kelly saw was a culture that didn't just tolerate hypocrisy, it dressed it up, repeated it, and amplified it. The industry didn't only protect Ellen, it relied on her image to keep the illusion of a bright, safe, playful world alive. But behind the polished curtain, it wasn't compassion driving things, it was control. And when the surface finally cracked, the real shock wasn't what came out, but how long it took for anyone to say it out loud. Megyn, no stranger to how media narratives are built, pulled at that curtain and started breaking it down. In her view, Ellen's rise looked carefully managed, her apologies polished, and her fall played out like a scripted reversal of fortune. While audiences saw dancing, smiles, and feel-good moments, she pointed to the silence behind the scenes, former staff accounts, reports of fear and micromanagement, and a media machine that kept reinforcing the image. To her, kindness had become a brand, and in Hollywood, brands tend to stay protected until public pressure forces change. From there, she raised the bigger questions about how someone so carefully packaged stayed beyond real scrutiny for so long, and why serious concerns only gained momentum once they spread widely online.
I have a question for you on this. This is perfect for you. Because I'm seeing this week that there is an attempted comeback by somebody who did not cross one of those fateful lines of the misstepping on their sacred cows of gender or race or sexuality.
Yeah.
But she was said to be a nasty biatch, and that's Ellen DeGeneres.
Yeah.
So her show got canceled after she had this testy exchange with Dakota Johnson, where something happened where Dakota said, oh, I had this birthday party. And Ellen said, well, why didn't you invite me? You didn't invite me. And she said, like, no, I did invite you, Ellen. That's not what happened. And Ellen had blown her off and then tried to play the victim on the set with her.
When a conservative even steps out of line, the media reacts instantly, like pigeons fighting over crumbs. But Ellen's situation was handled very differently. Soft headlines, careful framing, and a long sympathy arc that painted her more as misunderstood than responsible. Megyn Kelly wasn't convinced, and she didn't let the narrative slide without challenge. Then Greg Gutfeld stepped in, where Megyn took a sharper investigative tone. Gutfeld came in loud, sarcastic, and unapologetic. He went straight at the image of Ellen's sainthood, cutting through it with humor and calling out what he saw as Hollywood double standards. To him, the carefully managed apology and comeback attempts felt more like performance than accountability. Gutfeld mocked the idea that Ellen was simply unaware of what was happening around her, framing it as unrealistic and convenient. In his view, Hollywood has a habit of packaging redemption stories on demand, turning public image repair into entertainment. And when the person at the center of it controls the script, he suggested, it looks less like growth and more like damage control dressed up for TV.
We must stay in the hell of Trump. We're out of here. By the way, Walter.
I think we could let the illegal aliens stay if we get enough of Hollywood to self-deport.
Yes. I will take 1,000.
You know, exactly.
I'll take 1,000 Venezuelan migrants for one share.
Exactly. If you can get one Hollywood star to leave, you get to stay. Otherwise, it's out.
You know what, though? It's funny. I just want to bring this up to you. You can comment or not.
Yeah.
So she left a celebrity base to go to London, and she's already ensconced with other celebrities. So she's basically still in the same bubble.
She's not going back to London. She's going to Oxfordshire. And as the only person on this set who attended Oxford University.
No, way to drop that in.
It's true. I can tell you that there is nothing high British Oxford society loves more than a failed and despised American talk show host.
He also pointed to Ellen's deep ties with celebrity culture, the constant name-dropping, high-profile interviews, and friendships with billionaires. To him, it didn't feel relatable at all. You can't preach humility while living through a polished, luxury-driven spotlight. Gutfeld mocked the relatable image she built, arguing it was more illusion than reality, a carefully packaged persona delivered to audiences every day. But his criticism didn't stop at Ellen. He widened the focus to the whole system around her. Fans conditioned to cheer on cue, staff working behind the scenes with little visibility, and a media landscape he felt was too entertained to question what it was showing. Even the apology phase, with emotional interviews and talk of growth, became part of his joke. In his view, when someone has been rich and famous for years, the idea of still learning starts to sound less like honesty and more like image management. For Gutfeld, the story wasn't about a sudden fall. It was about a carefully built image finally collapsing under its own weight.
A show, home of Matt Lauer, that the bad press actually had nothing to do with her decision. Right, and the Titanic didn't hit an iceberg. It chose to sink.
If it was why I was quitting, I would have not come back this year. I really did think about not coming back because it did, it was devastating. I am a kind person. I am a person who likes to make people happy.
No, the real reason, she says, is it was just too easy. Telling the Hollywood Reporter, quote, when you're a creative person, you constantly need to be challenged. And as great as this show is, and as fun as it is, it's just not a challenge anymore. Well, if that's true, here's an idea. When your viewership is down 43%, why not consider that the challenge?
Back in Megyn Kelly's corner, the story kept moving. She focused on the aftermath. Sponsors quietly stepping away, fans losing interest, and ratings dropping fast. To her, it wasn't surprising at all. It felt like something building up for a long time. What stood out to her most wasn't just the controversy itself, but the silence that came before it. Years of soft interviews, easy questions, and polished media coverage had helped shape the image. In her view, Ellen didn't just present a public persona, she helped train audiences to accept it without much doubt. Over time, kindness became part of the branding, and when cracks appeared, the contrast was hard to ignore. Megyn also pointed to a broader cultural shift, where audiences were growing tired of overly polished images and scripted positivity, even if it once worked perfectly for daytime TV. She described it as an echo chamber effect, where praise circulated within the same circle of celebrities and supporters, reinforcing the same narrative until reality finally broke through.
DeGeneres bails for the UK. All right, I'm going to go to you first, Kat, because this is I think you understand this story. So Ellen and her wife, Portia, have left their millionaire haven of Montecito for England. Now, they're saying they'll never come back in the wake of Trump's win. Do you think that's the reason why she's leaving?
Absolutely not.
Then Greg Gutfeld came back with one final roast, zooming out on the whole situation. To him, Ellen wasn't just a TV host in trouble. She was a symbol of modern celebrity culture, where polished kindness gets rewarded and real accountability gets blurred. He compared her world to a sitcom that slowly forgot it wasn't real anymore, with every moment carefully staged and every laugh perfectly timed. In his view, the show became less about genuine connection and more like a carefully controlled performance. His final point was simple. What looked like a talk show became, in his words, a kind of theme park version of self-image. And when the image cracked, so did the illusion. Alongside Megyn Kelly's more analytical breakdown of the media and culture around it, the broader picture they painted wasn't about shock or revenge, but about how carefully built public images can eventually unravel. In the end, Ellen wasn't framed as canceled, but as someone whose on-screen persona and off-screen reality no longer matched, and once that gap became visible, the illusion couldn't fully hold anymore.